All right. Welcome. Friday, November 17th, 8:33 p.m. I wanted rather to take some time to at least have a conversation with myself and everyone else to bring everybody up to speed, to bring myself up to speed because there's more. I'm a little behind, um, which is a good thing. That just means that I have, and it's Friday. Is it Friday? Somehow I made it through the entire week without having a plan. Okay. Somehow I made it through the entire week without really planning and having an overall understanding of each moment of the day and how it will be spent. I think this week I have been doing what I've normally done each week, and that's take on a whole bunch of tasks and do what I can and then end up feeling burnt out at the end or overwhelmed because I don't really have a really good picture long term of everything. I think I have my fourth site that I'm working on at this point, and things are getting rather interesting. I'm getting to a point where I no longer have a choice. I have to get this schedule of mine together, and I have to get this together tonight. I have to really look at my schedule, really look at my client load, really organize my time. I do have my setup. I finally got my VMware and everything set up on my laptop, and that's finally going. I kind of got a rig right now, and I'm just looking at it, sizing the rig up because it's gonna have to provide for me at least over the next 30 days. It's gonna have to at least over the next 30 days because what has to happen, because right now, so we're dealing with about 4 clients. I'm dealing with organizing my finance system and my personal project management system. I do have the basics remnants of that started, and it's about 8 o'clock. And I've done some things today. What I did was I went and I worked out with Beachbody RX. Shouts out to Beachbody RX. And we had an interesting conversation today. Let's talk about that. And the conversation today that I had with Beachbody, with the representative from Beachbody RX, my personal trainer, is coaching in general and what coaching is. And so I described to him my idea of what coaching is, because prior to joining Beachbody RX and getting one of their personal trainers, I've had other personal trainers that I've worked with that have coached me through my 150-pound weight loss. And so when I was speaking to him, I told him that because he had expressed that he was kind of bringing on new clients, and he expressed some ups and some downs, and I was thinking, and I wanted to express to him, and we talked about it, and I actually want to talk about it here because I think it is relevant to my approach in general with my own clients because I'm coaching them, so to speak. And that is, coaching not only starts and end with starts with the end result in mind, so to speak. Coaching has a lot to do with training a person's mind, helping them to understand their emotions about the process, and giving them a idea of understanding the spirituality of the whole thing, which is being able to take a step back, being able to think the process all the way through from the beginning, being able to deal with experiencing obstacles, being able to maintain a positive mental attitude regardless of whatever negate situation or negative thought process that could arise at the time. And so coaching has more to do with building up a person on the inside first and less to do with building them up on the outside at first, especially if we're talking about information technology, if we're talking about physical training, or whether we're talking about lifestyle in general. To have success, just like I just admitted that my schedule is I've reached the point that I have to get things more organized, and what could happen as a result of, or let me restate it, as a result of not being organized as I'd like to be, there are so many emotions, so to speak, based on my thought process, that I am experiencing at this time, that if I don't check, they could cause me to make a decision that could essentially create a destructive set of experiences with myself and all of my clients, and essentially cause me to have less of a positive experience during this time, cause me to not make the most out of these opportunities at this time. Because the point of doing this, again, the point of me having multiple clients, to build these sites, to put myself out there as a freelancer, is to essentially create the knowledge base and the expertise, and create, especially through these casts and through Dream Think Design, and as it's morphing, essentially make myself into the expert on the cloud development market. And I'm bringing a wide assortment of experience, a massive experience from my contracting days, essentially my glorified employment days, in order to pull these things off. And the great thing about all of these websites is the functionality of the website. I already have an idea, like the base architecture of these sites. I have a base idea how things will work. And it's really just a matter of putting the pieces together. And so the coaching part has more to do for me in terms of the mental game and the emotional, spiritual game, and being able to be on top of myself and to monitor my thoughts. And no matter how many losses I find myself experiencing, that I don't quit. And so I expressed that to him today, and how as you know, no matter what, or excuse me, that as I bring new clients on, that as he brings new clients on, and as we move forward, and in general, even for myself in the future that will be listening at that present time, that I send this message to you from the past direct to the future, so that you can make a great decision and accept this, is that it doesn't matter where your schedule is right now. What matters most is that you commit yourself and you devote yourself to this labor of love, so to speak, because it is I can sit up here and say how much work I have that would probably make me and everybody else dizzy. I mean, this week alone, excuse me, all of the work that's been done this week alone in order to get me to this point with the client base, with with the organizational structure that I have right now, and with everything going on, there I could easily sit and complain about how much work that needs to be done and how little essentially that I've done, even though it seems as if I've done a whole bunch. So what I will say is that this is worth all of the time that I've spent this week. This whole process is worth it because I started off my freelance career with the idea that I want to dominate. Okay, this my whole idea of being a freelancer had less to do with competition and competing, and it had more to do with dominating in the industry because of all of the massive experience that I have and because of what I'm bringing to the table in terms of my ability to lead and manage projects and to coach these customers and clients in order to bring their sites into fruition, bring their dreams into fruition. And so all of these things that I'm bringing to the table, I realize in order for me to truly do these things, there has to be a serious amount of organization. And so, before I continue to push organization, push it, I want to say congratulations, because first and foremost, a few months ago you had zero freelance clients rather. And today you're looking at 4 or 5 new clients, and you have 2 or 3 other projects that's in the oven right now. Then you have your own 2 to 3 projects. You have done an immense amount of work in order to get this, in order to maintain and get your life to this point. So congratulations. Second of all, what I will say is once again, the work that has to be done, the organization, my time and energy, the organization of how I do my projects, it is a labor of love. I heard that in one of the books that I'm currently listening to. The newest book that I'm listening to is, just to get the name, bringing it up, The $1 Million Secret That Lies Hidden Within Your Mind. It's written by Anthony Norvell. It's a good book. It's along the same lines as the books written by Vic Johnson, and it deals with, and it's along the same lines as Napoleon Hill and Bob Proctor and all of the greats in terms of motivation. And it deals with, and it again, it's not one of those fly-by-night Western motivation books. It deals specifically with the gold mine that's inside of your mind, so to speak. And he deals with metacognition the same way Vic Johnson deals with metacognition, the same way Napoleon Hill deals with metacognition. And it's good to hear multiple authors deal with the same subject, because it's ingraining in me the idea that it's ideas that make millions, not simply money itself, not simply people themselves, not simply technology itself. It is ideas. And so what I'm doing over this time, and so there's a couple things, and as I talk about this, there's a few other topics come to mind, is how can I do all of this differently? How can I be more effective by doing what I'm doing right now more efficiently. The one thing that I can say is that because I know the main infrastructural work of all of these websites, because they're similar, and they hadn't. Most of the projects that I'm working on right now are similar in nature. Even though that they are in different industries. One thing that I can do better is, again, the way at which I manage each project, because right now I'm kind of doing it from a notepad. I do have all of my to-do in a spreadsheet. I'm just not working from that spreadsheet yet. And so that's a way that I'm going about it. And so I have to spend time thinking through how I can do these things differently, how I can do my profession differently and do it better. Another thing that I got from some of these books is personal development. I've spent a lot of time on my physical, spiritual, emotional development this week, and I did not spend enough time on my mental development this week. I did read and I have done some study, but what I didn't do is I didn't do essentially my mental development in terms of looking at new technologies. I was saying earlier, I think on another session, that I'm attracted to the Unity framework in .NET, and .NET has a full assortment of technologies that I can work with, and I could possibly take other courses on Node and Python just to keep building up my expertise in those technologies, so that when I get ready to use them, I will be an expert at them. And so these are some other things that I didn't do this week that I'm feeling like I really need to do, is add some autobiographies of some self-made millionaires in my book reading. One thing I also want to do as a main goal in terms of my social goal is to join a Toastmasters. I keep saying that. So by the time I listen to this, I should have at least gone to one meeting. Toastmasters International has a website where you find the club. There are tons of clubs in my area. I could just as easily find a club and go attend and observe. And so if I haven't done it by the time I listen to this, stop with whatever you're doing, go to Toastmasters International, find a club, and schedule the time to actually go. Okay? So that's that. I was thinking about doing the Think part of the website today and how I'm going to structure the Think part of the website. And I'm basically going to do some very basic posts. There's some of the posts might be poems. Some of the posts might be images with a question. Some of the posts might just be a meditative question with a nice image. So I'm going to be creative. I'm going to allow myself to be creative in the Think side of the house, so to speak, because I want to engage people. I want them to think. And so some of the posts might be excerpts, might be motivational quotes. Some of the posts, it's just going to be a wide assortment of content that will engage me as I read through the website and will engage my users. Now, it's in my to-do list, my ongoing to-do list, but I'll talk about it here because I think it's important. I have a book, okay? And so what I want to do is create a work for DreamThinkDesign.com. I actually want to create a work for it. And so because of these auto posts, I'm going to be looking at doing a book that goes directly to the market as an audio book that I'm going to read myself. And it's going to be a series based on a set of topics that I put together that I will just discuss ad hoc, sort of like this. But it will be essentially a series of topics that follow a outline that I am going to create a audio work for and release it on DreamThinkDesign.com. I have so many ideas on how I want to do DreamThinkDesign.com, and I need to start driving people to the website. And so because I have some valuable content there, and I think that people can learn from my life, especially from these Dreamcasts, because what I'm finding is I'm having it. I used to think that most of the experiences that I have was unique to me, but now I see that a lot of the experiences that I have is really a common to human beings in general. And what separates me is my perception. And I know that I've been talking about that too. I've been talking about character, and what separates me, so to speak, from other individuals, especially in technology, is my perspective. And my perspective has been shaped over time through all of my experiences. In 1 year's time, I want to have a certain amount of clients. I want to have a certain amount of money as a result, and I want to be recognized on a certain level in the industry. And so because of these very aggressive goals, I am pushing myself to always be challenging my perception, because my perception is my reality. Now, don't get me wrong, ladies and gentlemen. I have learned a lot during this time, and I will say that the man that I'm becoming as a result of pushing myself is worth far greater than the amount that will be in my bank account. Saying it again, that the person that I'm becoming is during this process is far greater than the amount that is finding itself in my bank account. What that means is the fact that I'm pushing myself, and the fact that I'm pushing myself to read 3 to 4 books a week, and pushing myself to have new clients, to organize my time once and for all. I mean, not once and for all, but at least have a system at play, and to have an idea of how my day is going to go. One thing I'm going to do today is just have an understanding of what my schedule is going to be like for tomorrow. I know I've been ducking and dodging it, and and I need to actually do it. Where my personal system, my personal project management system is I have a spreadsheet. The roadblock that I have right now is first of all, let's deal with IFT. IFT does not have a mechanism to deal with Google spreadsheets. And the mechanism that they do have is very limited, and it doesn't really meet the scenario that I want to do, because basically my scenario is this. I need for something to watch these series of spreadsheets to push the updates to a project management system online. Trello is one that I'm looking at, to push them as cards. As I move the card, the card then goes and updates the spreadsheet based on where the card is being moved. And then, so as I go from to do, doing, and done, and then, so once I do that, then what I'd like to do is, as I move things to done, I'd like them either to go to a different spreadsheet, or for a report to be generated or updated based on what I'm doing or tasks that I've completed. They have some tasks like that. Now, Zapier has mechanisms to do that, but I think the pricing, let me pull up the pricing of Zapier.com right now. Zapier pricing. Zapier's pricing for the quote unquote starter pack is about $120 a month. So that's about not $120. It is $20 a month, and then they bill it annually. The annual cost is $120. It might be worse. It actually might be worse, because then you could do about 20 zaps at a time. You could do multi-step zaps, which is what essentially I'm going to be doing, is multi-step zap or tasks. They call them zaps, but it's like multi-step tasks that I can have a watcher, for example, on the spreadsheet that updates it as a card. I can have something that finds the board in the multi-step zap, quote unquote, that will find the board that coincides with the spreadsheet, that will update the card. I can take it when I actually update my cards in Trello. It will send it to the spread. It might actually be worth it to just go ahead and make that jump and do that. I might actually purchase this, because if it's a year and just $120 to be able to use this system. And I'm gonna look at. I've been testing Zapier, and Zapier is more thorough and has more features than IFT. If somebody asks me to do a comparison between IFT and Zapier, there really is no comparison. IFT, they have services that they already baked in, that you could use, and it's mostly free. And Zapier does too. But the thing about Zapier is you have the ability to build out your own personal success system, utilizing many systems online at once, and you're able to, and it allows you to build it out on a pretty consistent basis. And so it does make sense to use it. And I'm looking at the price, and I'm like, that's a small cost to really get organized, This system will optimize my life to a degree that I currently only can just dream of. This thing will actually do it. So I think I'm going to make the purchase for Zapier. And for people and for myself and others that's really serious about getting their life together, you need a service like Zapier. Because if you're like me, especially if you're a freelancer, you have many technologies that you're using, and to try to find one technology that does everything that you want, you can pretty much forget about it. What you need is something that can act as the glue, so to speak, between all of the systems that will allow you to get your job done. And so it's about 20 tasks at a time. It's about 1,000 per month. That's a lot, and I can do a whole bunch with that. And my life would get even more optimized, to the point where I could send notifications from my phone to the spreadsheet. I can create other systems, like my financial system that I haven't even started yet. But with the help of Zapier, I could really do some things. I was looking at newocr.com. I can develop small things, like small applications on my end that could plug into Zapier. I'm thinking about just really putting this together and really looking at my whole system, because this will help me. So that's that. And so thinking about my life, thinking about how things have progressed, I have realized that I can no longer do things on a fly by night way if I expect to become a millionaire. It's just I just can't. It's just not. I just know it's just not a good. It's not a good look. And the great part about it is I can do this. I could do the majority of this work on my own at first if I get organized. Now, in this whole organizational piece that I keep harping on is I'm finding myself only able to do a certain amount. And so Zapier comes in at, because it will essentially be my social media manager. It will be my accountant. It will be my project manager. It will be my personal accounting and reporting software, all in one, only for $120 a year. So, all that being said, it's definitely worth it, especially if you're a technologist and you know exactly what you need, and you could get the whole thing done, and you can orchestrate the whole system, and then you just manage the process, and that's a small amount to make a big impact in my life. So that's that. Want to take the time to say I love you. I give thanks for you. I give thanks for everything that you're doing. I give thanks for all of the lessons that you've learned this week. Spend time thinking about your habits. Spend the time thinking about, you do have an idea on how to change your habits. You have to begin to start changing your personal habits to reflect being the person that you have to be in order to have success during this time. One more time, it's worth repeating. Deal with your habits, because you need a series of habits that will allow you to be the person that's necessary in order for you to succeed in the 3 goals that you have: becoming an expert in the cloud development, C#, Node.js, Python industry, online, to become a millionaire in the process, and also to expand your website and get into your books and doing radio shows, podcasts, and eventually going into the doing webcasts and things of that nature. And in order for you to do that, you have to go ahead and make the sacrifice to look at your habits, because these are the things that will enable you to be there. Your habits are your rituals. If you have these goals, then you need rituals, you need habits that back you up. And you cannot have the habits of a thousandaire. You can't have habits of a contractor. You can't have habits of a local developer if you want to be internationally known. I'm just going to say it. You just cannot. You need rituals and habits that will enable you to be the person that you have to be in order to accomplish these things. Again, look at what you need to do also. And I was thinking about this today, is you need to look at your B list. I'm speaking directly to myself, and then for those who do not know what a B list is a B, once again, who do you want to be? Write it down. And it's not just one thing. On my B list, I have about 5 or 6, maybe even 7 things. 7 things that I want to be. And so I need to look at that every day and every night. I also need to spend some time, at least 30 minutes a day, thinking about how I can do this differently. And then possibly I will put it into my task grooming period. And just think about it. Just really deal with it. Because again, you have to have the rituals that enable you to be these people, or enable you to be what you want to be on this list, so that you can do what's necessary to enable you to have what you desire. So spend the time. You have to do it. I know and I know for myself, I have some habits that I have to get rid of. I just have some, and I'll just say that. I have to get rid of them because they just do not fit. They just don't fit. And so the series of losses that I've experienced because of these habits aren't losses, because I realize that I will make the grade, ladies and gentlemen, on these habits once again, because I am challenging myself. And so I challenge you all to do the same thing. And so once again, I'm grateful to you. I give thanks for you. I give thanks for all of those who listen. I honor each and every one of you. I want to say that if you find yourself, for whatever reason, with your head down, physically, mentally, emotionally, or spiritually, do what my father said and raise your head. You have the power. You have greatness on the inside of you. Tap into it. Do not listen what the people say. You know who you are. You know what you want in this life, and you will have it. Until the next time we speak,